Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing awesome today. I'm gonna key you guys in on something here today. I'm gonna teach you how to save a little money by not buying any of the fragrances in today's video. That's right, you can save money by never buying these. Don't do it. Don't buy it at discounters. Don't buy it at retail. You don't even need to sample it. I mean, if you want to, if it sounds interesting, you can sample it, but you don't need to. Trust me. We got some niche fragrances, we got some designer fragrances, we got it all here. A little bit expensive, a little bit cheap, but all of these, I think you're better off taking that money that you were about to just chuck into the fire, put it back in your wallet. Check these out. Now, the first fragrance I want to talk to you guys about here today is a fragrance I just reviewed not that long ago on my Extra Gents channel. That's right, Extra Gents. If you don't know about it, you can just type in on YouTube, Extra Gents. That should pull it up. There might be a link in the description. I'm not sure. There might be. But I reviewed this one, and I told you guys in that review, if you haven't seen it, that it's not very good. And so I'm driving that point home and featuring it here today. But if you do want to buy this from twistedlily.com, use the code GENTS10, save yourself 10% off the entire website. Or alternatively, go to jomashop.com and use the code, GENTS8 for $8 off any order over $110. But like I said, don't do that. Don't buy it. But if you want to buy something else, there's a code, 2 of them. Okay, the fragrance, 8 & Bob Champs de Provence. This one is just not worth it. It's gonna run you at retail about $200, and I don't even need to tell you all the different things that you could buy for that amount of money that would be better than this. Buy $200 worth of Pizza Hut pizzas, and that would be a better way of spending your money, other than the heart disease, but it would taste good, so that's something. Now, the fragrance here has an awesome opening. So if you were walking by this fragrance in the store and you just grabbed it and sprayed it on a tester strip, you might think to yourself, he has no clue what he's talking about. This opening is great. Citrusy, green, fresh. Really good. Great spring and summertime scent. Don't worry though, spray it on your skin and then check back on that fragrance in about 10 minutes and tell me how it works out for you. Probably not all that well. It has this jasmine that comes in and mixes together with a mate note that's bitter and indolic. It smells a little bit dirty, off-putting, just not pleasant at all. And the citrus fades away and you're left with this just mishmash of nastiness. It does get a little better as it dries down, but it's really still a little off. I tried to like it. I wore that fragrance a lot over the years trying to convince myself, no, it's not that bad. It's that bad. And the performance isn't great either. So yeah, that one, stay away. Next up, Nautica Oceans. I love to hate on this any chance I get. It's terrible. The whole deal with this fragrance, and it's something that we see a lot now, and there's nothing inherently bad about this at all, but the whole deal with this fragrance is that it is a better fragrance for the environment, which is like a new kind of buzzy thing that brands are putting on all of their packaging. You know, it's the new thing. A vegan fragrance that is not tested on animals, that part's good, but that has like water-based inks for the box, as if that's destroying the planet. Is it? But then it also does not have perfumer's alcohol in here. So yeah, so all that's fine and dandy, and maybe that actually is a huge positive to you. You look at that and you say, man, that's awesome that they did all that stuff with that fragrance. I really want to support them by buying it. Well, you might as well flush that money down the toilet, because this stuff has no lasting power at all. It's got no projection at all. And even the scent itself, when you can smell it, sucks. It's like a slight sea salty nothingness. I think pretty comfortably that is the worst fragrance that Nautica has ever done. And that's saying something, because Nautica fragrances typically go for about $20 or $25 at discounters. That one is not even worth that. Let's keep it going. You know, this one, I'm just gonna do it now because it kind of fits in with the last fragrance. Chrome Under the Pole. Now, the Azzaro Chrome line has a lot of really good flankers, especially when we're talking about that good discounter price. You know, something like Chrome Aqua, Chrome Extreme, even Chrome Eau de Parfum, the new one. Some of the older ones for the price have people that really enjoy them, but this one is just terrible. The idea behind this one is similar to the idea behind this one, making a fragrance that is ostensibly better for the environment. And one of the things that sets this apart, for better or for worse, definitely for worse, is the fragrance juice itself, if we really want to call it juice here, and I don't know that we do. So the juice of this fragrance, if you've never sprayed this on, never seen it, never worn it, it looks like milk. It's a white, sticky substance, and it looks absolutely horrific. Let me spray myself. You're not gonna be able to see this, but I can relive the horror. Oh God, I mean, there's like globules of white nastiness just stuck to my arm here. Yeah, there's like little balls of nasty white stuff. So that's enough right there for me to just be completely grossed out by, to not want this, because do you really want to spray that all over yourself? Probably not. On top of that, it makes your skin sticky wherever you sprayed it, so that's gross. The fragrance itself doesn't really have much staying power, not much longevity, not much projection, and it doesn't even really smell all that good either. It's like a very tinny, thin Azzaro chrome. The stuff sucks. You don't need it. It's disgusting. Let's go back to niche. This time it's Hermetica, and the fragrance is Spice Air. Spice Air. Emerald Stairways, it says. Now, Hermetica comes to us gracefully and gratefully from the company that does Mimo Paris and Floricu. So those two lines, pretty good. This line, almost all of it, complete trash. There's one thing that I cannot get over with this house, and it's not just this house, it's any house that does this. Some of you out there will share this sentiment, others will not at all. I hate the fact that every single bottle looks the exact same. So you go into a store, you see them all lined up, just a row of tall, skinny green bottles. They all look the exact same. The only thing different is the name on the fragrance. It makes them all run together in my mind, and my simple goblin brain just says, I hate it. I don't want to smell any of them. Yes, I know you shouldn't do that, but I still do. This fragrance, there's nothing to write home about. It's not impressive. It's not good at all. It's not worth the price point. It has a bit of a hairspray vibe to it. It smells inexpensive, and you don't need it. I mean, it's that simple, really. Oh, speaking of sucking, the scent, Pure Accord, Hugo Boss. I hate you. I was excited about this fragrance. When this was announced, I thought, wow, that could be really cool. That could be a great change of pace fragrance for spring and summer, because this is the summertime or the fresh take on the scent DNA. And I really like the line, the scent. Private Accord, awesome. Pure Accord, garbage. It leans ever so slightly feminine, especially compared to the other fragrances in this line. It's sickly sweet, and it's just not really that well done. I think it drops the ball in terms of following through with that scent DNA, and it's easily my least favorite from the line. Even worse than the original, which most people dislike a decent amount, or at least people within the community. So Pure Accord, not worth it, stay away from it. Next, Mont Blanc Individual Tonic. This is a letdown. This is generic, this is crappy, this smells cheap. There's a lot of stuff to say about this. None of them are good. Mont Blanc didn't even think this stuff was good because they didn't even really care to announce it. And I talked about this briefly in a previous video, but sometimes houses will be contracted with stores to do something for them, and the brand will crap something out and almost pretend like they had nothing to do with it. And if it takes off, then they'll say, oh, okay, cool. Well, let's do a proper release for that. And if it doesn't, then they'll just be like, what? That's not me. Dunhill has done that a decent amount with some of their fragrances. Fragrances that came out had no information about them at all, just kind of plopped into the world, and same with Mont Blanc here. This one has that abrasive chemically top to it that reminds me of hairspray. I know I already said that with one of these, but I'm saying it again. And it also has absolutely nothing to do with Individual. So if you like Individual and you saw this and you thought, oh, cool, I wonder how they're gonna tweak the DNA. The answer to that question is they're not. They're just gonna completely scrub it clean of anything that had to do with the original, and then put this monstrosity out and hope that somebody gets duped into buying it. Somebody like me. Next up, Burberry's The Beat. I got this years ago. many, many years ago. And I can count on one hand the number of times that I wore it because I have always hated it. I blind bought it. It was a fail. It happens. Again, a very cheap smell to it. That's one thing that a lot of these have in common. You don't want that. When you can smell a fragrance and you immediately think to yourself, oh, yeah, that's pretty strongly chemically and cheap and abrasive smelling, that's not good. And that's not something that typically I get over. You know, it's something that I really dislike. And this one is very strongly leaning in that direction. It's peppery, decently peppery, quite peppery, a lot of black pepper. So yeah, pepper, blah, blah, blah. If you don't like it, probably won't like this one. And truthfully, if we're being honest here, Burberry does not have a huge amount of fragrances that are really just hitters, ones that you need to get your nose on. They don't have a lot of those. Even when they tried to come out with a blue fragrance to go to war with the Sauvages of the world, the Bleu de Chanels of the world, and everybody just went, no thanks, I don't like it. Truthfully, Mr. Burberry is not that bad. The Beat sucks. Don't like it. Let's go another cheap designer here. Carolina Herrera, CH Sport. CH Men Sport, I guess is technically the official name. Truly a fragrance that I don't really care about at all. It's just one of those fragrances that exists in perpetual mediocrity, where nobody ever talks about this as a must-smell heavy hitter fragrance. It's not offensive. You know, you don't smell it and think, man, what an abomination. Like some of these you will, but this one you don't. But it's just so lackadaisical and mediocre that when you smell it, you forget within 3 seconds what it smells like. Is it a passable fragrance for spring and summertime, daytime situations, the gym? Absolutely. And I would say that I would actually choose to wear this over the overwhelming majority of fragrances that I'm featuring here today. The problem with it is that it is just so bland and boring. It does what you would expect. It's fresh, it's a little sweet, it's clean, and it's just boring. That's all I can say. I mean, it's making me fall asleep right now, even holding this in my hand. It's like a cursed item. Although I do wish that Carolina Herrera would come out with a little more CH Men stuff. They basically abandoned it at this point for Burberry. Okay, back to niche. 10 Corso Como. This is a former hype beast fragrance. For a time, everybody was saying you gotta smell it, and it does smell good. So what's the deal? Why is it on the list if it smells good? Well, the performance is utter garbage. It is really, 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 really bad. I mean, the presentation is frankly not very good. Just a very inexpensive, cheap sticker slapped on the front here, a little nothingness of a cap, a little plastic cap, and that's it. The scent is pretty nice. It's got this incensiness to it, nice woodiness, and a bit of spice as well. The quality is good. Really enjoy it. It just stays on your skin for like 15 minutes is what it feels like, and then just disappears. So it's one of those circumstances where the fragrance, in terms of the note breakdown and the scent profile, reads and smells, frankly, when you first smell it, like it should have decent staying power, but it doesn't at all. And so you pay a decent amount to pick the fragrance up, and then is gone so quickly you can't really use it anywhere unless you're just wearing it and reapplying every 45 minutes. So the reason that it was hyped is because it smells nice. The reason that nobody talks about it is because it has no staying power. Last but not least, Lunarosa Sport. I had to think about that for a second. It's definitely better than some of the other ones here. So the problem that plagues Lunarosa Sport is the same problem that plagues CH Men Sport, and that is it's a sport fragrance that doesn't really do enough to capture your attention. And if it doesn't really capture your attention at all, is it going to capture other people's attention? Probably not. It's one of those fragrances that is usable, it's functional, it doesn't smell bad, it just doesn't really smell great either. It's, again, just very mediocre. I'd say it's the worst of the Lunarosa line. If you're looking for something fresh, something clean, something soapy, it'll do it for you. But even within its own line, there are better sport, gym, spring, summer offerings than this one. So Lunarosa Sport, you kind of suck. Sorry. So there we go, 10 fragrances that I just saved you money on. Wow. Thank you. The adulation, it's okay. in all honesty and seriousness here, don't buy these, okay? If you're really interested in one of these, sample it first. And if it works for you really well, then that's awesome. At that point, you know what you're in for, good to go. Scoop it up. But blind buying, don't do it. You'll be disappointed 90% of the time, I would say. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you for hanging with me. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.